All right, this is Eric with Refresh and Reload. Lazarus returns. Behind the camera is that other guy who's here with the microphone that's more important, Commander of Yomi. We're here to talk about Skullgirls. I mean, we've been waiting. We all want it. I'm not going to talk about the date. You can go look that up, or it will be down below somewhere. So, what do you do? How long have you been with them for?
Hi, I'm John Crofts, and I am the Programming Intern at Reverb Labs, the developers of Skullgirls. I started early this summer, and I'm back at school now, but because I live here in the Midwest, I go to Purdue University, they like to send me to these kinds of things, like seasons beatings.
Well, they trust you enough to send you, I mean.
Yeah. And I'm actually like a fighting game player. I've been doing that for a few years. So I came here last year just to play, and now it's really awesome to be here to show off the game. So it's a lot of fun, for sure.
So you said you got some new stuff here that you brought to the show.
Yeah, we got some really exciting new stuff. Our fifth character, Miss Fortune, is playable at the show, and this is the first time she's been playable. She's also over at New York Comic Con, so kind of.
This is the better place.
Definitely. Have you been in there?
There are some big ballers here. I mean, this show up is like Evo style show up for people.
This is like the Evo of the Midwest. It's awesome.
It truly is.
Yeah.
So what do you got? What is special about this?
So Miss Fortune is she is part human, part cat, which is, I guess, like that's a fairly common thing in fighting games. There are cat girls, but the difference is she is a zombie. So she is kind of undead, and she can separate her limbs from her body, and she can separate her head from her body.
So they actually stretch and come off.
Yeah, she can stretch them out, kind of like Dawson, or she can just straight up like take them off. So she can take her head and roll it like a bowling ball, and then she can use the head to attack, and so you can kind of come at the person from both sides with the head attacking and you attacking with no head. Nice. It's really cool. She's a really awesome character.
Pretty unique mechanics.
Yeah, really unique. She's kind of if you've played BlazBlue, she's kind of like Carl Clover, where there's like the main character and there's like the assistant.
So you gotta control two.
Yeah, and all that stuff is just done with one button. It's a hard punch, so if you just press hard punch, it attacks. If you press a direction and hard punch, it slides in that direction. Yeah, kind of. She's kind of a more simple shadow character, more simple than someone like Carl, but she's still like got a lot of depth that you can really get into. And if you want, you can just play her with the head on the whole time, and not even worry about it, and she's still a really good character.
So what else you got with it? What else did you bring?
We brought the original 4 characters that we've been showing. We brought new stages. A lot of the stages animate now, which they didn't used to. We've got some background characters in the stages. You guys did some really
special stuff with the lighting in this game, where like it actually casts shadows.
Yeah, what's really neat about Skullgirls, it's a 2D fighter, and it has 2D hand-drawn art, but it's on a 3D engine, which lets us do some really neat things. Like there's dynamic shadows. All the characters cast real shadows, so it's not like Street Fighter where there's just a blob under you, or like the 2D Street Fighters. It's like when your character transforms or moves, the shadow matches it. There's also real-time lighting. If a character's standing near a bright part of the stage, they get bright. There's colored lights. Like if I shoot you with a blue laser beam, you'll be colored blue. So you can't do that in a normal 2D art game, but in Skullgirls, it looks really great.
Now, am I correct in saying they said that this is some of the most frame rates for a fighting game? Like a higher animation frame rate?
There are. It runs at 60 frames per second, which is, that's what games run at these days. But
the animation, I heard,
every character has, I think the current number is somewhere between 12 and 1600 frames per character, which is a lot. Yeah,
that's a lot.
And the characters are really emotive. That's kind of the style they're going for. Like if you played Darkstalkers, a lot of the characters have really elaborate transformations and warping, and it's neat because it's really harder to do that in a 3D game where you have to model it all out, but in a 2D game, the characters can do really crazy stuff. So in Skullgirls, the characters are really well animated. It looks great.
This is your second time here?
This is my second time at Seasons Meetings. This is my first time as a member of the Reverge team.
Actually working.
Yeah.
What do you think of the show?
It's fantastic.
Pretty good cry for Skullgirls. You guys have been with this
the
entire time.
It's been really crowded. We had to start saying, hey, can you guys we want to let everyone play. Everyone wants to just play the game, which is awesome. That's exactly what we want. Yeah. Sharing is caring.
So, have you enjoyed the show? Had a good time?
Oh yeah. I entered the tournament this year. I entered Street Fighter 4, and I actually just lost, so I'm a little bit sad.
Well, dude, like we said, you got top team people coming out here to play.
Yeah, they're really good players here.
To show up.
Yeah, for sure.
Some of the top tier players putting your game through the paces.
Yeah, it's awesome, and we love doing stuff like this where we can have a bunch of people play the game because that helps us with a lot of design decisions. And Reverge is a pretty small developer, which is kind of nice. We can make decisions really quickly. We don't have to go through big, like approval processes.
Yep.
So we take feedback from the fans, from the fighting game players, and we implement it. If we really like it, we implement it as
Kind of a
quickly
new
as possible.
concept? I don't know many fighting games that have done it quite to the depth you guys are doing.
Yeah, we're definitely focusing on that to a big degree.
So
Stuff
you're
like
building for your audience.
Yeah.
Instead of building for intellectual property. You're building for the audience.
Yeah, stuff like if you want to pause the game, you actually have to hold the button for about a third of a second. Versus just tapping it. So if you bump your stick against a table, you don't pause and get disqualified if you're in a tournament.
Now you don't get any freeze. Now you're just out for it.
Exactly. Yeah.
Are you hoping this will be tournament level play? Is it the game plan?
That's what we're aiming for, definitely. Our lead gameplay designer, Mike Z, he's a tournament level Marvel vs. Capcom 2 and Blaze Blue.
Yep.
He's really good, and
dude's been around the block a lot.
Yeah, he definitely knows his stuff. So
tournament's a game, and this will be one of the first downloadable fighting games to be tournament level.
There have been a few downloadable fighting games, but they're mostly remakes. This is one of the first that's completely original. Yeah.
Excellent. Well, thanks for joining us today. You're our first interview for this place. We're going to be doing a lot more. But you can join us on refreshandreload.com. Thank you for coming here and talking with us. And I'm going to go play games because I'm really tired of talking to you guys.